Welcome back, rum fans. My name's Steve the Barman, and I'm just here to help you on your rum journey, but mainly focusing on rums under £50 in the UK, or whatever that is in your currency of choice, but £50 in the UK. And today, I've got this little belter. Let's give you the little close up on this Plantation 20. What's it called? XO, essentially, but we kind of know it's the 20th anniversary rum. So the Plantation XO. It's an absolute beast of a rum. I've never actually done a proper tasting of it as such because I just drink it neat. But doing the kind of, as I do with these videos, has been really fun. So let's dive straight into it and give you, I've got loads of notes. I've done the tasting already. As always, coming up after we've done the neat tasting, I've got how I think it works as a mixer. So we've got the Coke, the ginger, the daiquiri, the rum fashioned, and a punch there. But first off, we want to kind of know about the rum and how it tastes neat. So notes, what can I tell you about the rum? This is just coming off Plantation themselves. So this is, so the framework I use to do all these reviews is an app called the Rum X app, which is available all across Europe. It will be coming to the US and Canada, as far as I'm aware, later on in 2022. But it's a cracking app. So this is the framework I've used. Now, interestingly, I can't find another rum that's been reviewed more than this on there. This has been reviewed over 430 times on the Rum X app, which in the grand scheme of things is a hell of a lot of times. So you can kind of say, the other one that's close to it is Diplomatico. That's close. It may even be just above, but they're very, very close, like within sort of 10 of each other. No other rums come even close to this. So it's a very, very popular rum. So let's dive into it. Now, the one thing to note about this is the big mistake people make. It is not a 20-year-old rum. A lot of people do. This is, as I say, it's the XO. It's the 20th anniversary of, it was released, I forget the actual year, and I think it may have been around roughly about somewhere between 2000 and 2010. Somewhere around about that time, the latter end of that, 2008, 2009. I should have looked, I don't know, but it was basically released to commemorate Alexandra Gabriel's 20th anniversary as a master blender. That's what it refers to. So it's got nothing to do with 20-year-old. However, we have got some decent lengthy aged rums in here. What can I tell you? It's a Barbados rum. It's a twin column and pot still rums, obviously from WIRD, West Indian Rum Distillery, because that's what Plantation own. It's their sort of distillery out there. Now the rums are a blend of 8 to 15-year-old that have been tropical aged. So 8 to 15-year-old tropical age, which means it's been aged in Barbados. And then we've got a blend of 2 to 10-year-old continental aging, as in shipped back to France and then aged in kind of the European climate, if you like. So 8 to 15 tropical, 2 to 10 continental. And the continentals include white oak bourbon and ex-cognac casks, Prière France cognac casks as well. So we've got a whole range of rums going in there, a whole different blend. And as always with Plantation, it's one of the reasons we love Plantation. They are probably one of the most open and honest in the grand scheme of things, rum distilleries out there. They tell you exactly what the dosage is, tell you how much sugar's gone in there. This one is at the maximum it can be to be legally classified as a rum. It's 20 grams of sugar per litre. But I'll let you into a little secret. It's not as sweet as you may think it is on the back of that. It's really, really tasty. So, Smuggler's Cove, if you're relating to that, is obviously category 3. It does kind of loosely come under, you could go into sort of long-aged, blended long-aged if you want. Bearing in mind it's 15 years old, but some of them, as I say, some of the rums in there are down at 3 years. So yeah, category 3 essentially, blended rums. And the price, Master of Malt, is under £50, but £48.50. £48.50. But then look at the bottle. Look at the bottle. It's a whopper. Look at the cork on top there. Look, absolute whopper of a bottle there. It's really heavy duty. On the back of the bottle, there's lots of awards on there. 2017, it gets updated all the time. 2017, 2018, 2019 on there. You know, I've got another bottle there. I've just been into my unit this morning. I've got an older bottle, which I completely forgot to bring back. You know, so it gets updated, the awards all the time. So let's get into the Rum X framework, the tasting. So the colour, On the app, I've gone for Tawny. I think that's closest to Tawny as we get on the app. Nose. What can we get on the nose? So, and as always, I'll go through my notes, but I've also got the app open here to kind of tell you what other people have smelt as well. So, what I got: vanilla, coconut, caramel, tropical, fruity, but light, and that's kind of my way of kind of getting towards column still rums. I could sort of tell there's a big influence of column still rum in there, massive influence, because I kind of get that light sort of vibes that I love from a column still rum. There's a touch of spice, and then really kind of sort of out in the back there, I do get that kind of woody notes, oak aging notes in there, but it is heavily emphasised on the fruity side of things for me. So my scores on this. I've gone, as I add in, as always, I add in the sweetness of how sweet I think it's going to be. And these are all out of 5. Now, as on smelling that, I've put a 2. So 4 out of 10, essentially. It smells, it's got a little bit of potential to be a little bit sweet, but I've smelt a lot of rums that I know full well are going to be sweeter. So 2 out of 5, essentially, for that. 3 from the fruity scale, 2 woody oaky, roasted 1, floral 2, spices 1, rounded, I think it's quite rounded, 3. So the emphasis for me personally on my palate, on the nose, sorry, is that I think it's going to be a fruity, more fruity than it is anything else. It's those big tropical fruit notes that come out. So other people, this is always fascinates me, what other people have got. I'm going to read you through the whole list here. So vanilla, coconut, caramel, sweet, tropical fruits, banana, woody, fruity, spice, oak, creme brulee. I struggle on that. I've seen that tasting note before, and I really struggle on the creme brulee. I kind of just think caramel, if I'm being honest. But creme brulee, I'll give people that. Quite a few people have kind of put it, so that's fine. Burnt sugar, delicious. Citrus, I don't get citrus. I get plenty of tropical fruit, but I don't get citrus on here. But the one, you can tell by my little smile that's coming, especially after the last couple of reviews I did. Glue. This whole glue thing is back again. What the hell? How? I do not understand. I need to go and buy me some glue. I said this in the last video. I need to go and buy me some glue because I don't understand that glue thing. And quite a few people have ticked it in the grand scheme of things as well. I just don't at all. I don't know what they mean by glue. I don't get glue vibes from it at all in the slightest. But apparently quite a few people get glue. So that's what other people have smelt. So let's get on to the old tasting notes now. Now, tasting. Oh my God. This is, I've just come for a little sip just to remind myself. The first thing that hits me is the luxuriousness of it. And yes, it has got a bit of sugar. 20 grams, as I said, that kind of rounds that all off. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, that is that sweet. It just gives it a really lovely mouthfeel. Luxurious, that's the kind of word on there. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because right up top is those tropical fruit notes. Literally right on the first sip, the first thing that hits your mouth is the tropical fruit notes. And they're there for 10, 15, 20 seconds or so. And then it just dries out into this woody, peppery, a little bit of spice going on there, a little bit of caramel. What did I put? So I've put luxurious, vanilla, coconut, woody, oak aging, tropical fruits, honey. And this is where it's coming now. Literally probably 30, 45 seconds later, I have got this sort of caramel toffee notes going on. I find it hard to distinguish between caramel and toffee at this precise moment. Perhaps I need to go and eat some toffee and eat some caramel separately to kind of start distinguishing that. But and banoffee and all that. Banoffee is an easy one for me because if I get subtle hints of caramel and banana, I'm going banoffee. But if I don't get those banana kind of vibes too much, then I really kind of struggle with that one. But toffee versus caramel, I do struggle on that personally. So I kind of lump them all together. But as I say, for me, it really starts off fruity, really kind of tropical fruits. No citrus in there for me, just proper out and out juicy tropical fruits that sort of dies away into this sort of lovely, and I wouldn't say overly woody, I'll give you the scores now, but I wouldn't say overly woody, but it's sort of nice oak aged lovely rounded finish. So, sweetness. Because of that luxuriousness, I've given it a 3 out of 5. I had to. So, yeah, so essentially 6 out of 10. Bearing in mind your Don Papas, your Diplomaticos, those sort of things are going to be up there at 5 out of 5s. So a long way ahead of that. This is where I keep saying in every video, I keep thinking the 5 score is a little bit harsh, because 6, you know, I'd want to give that, personally, I'd want to give that a 5 out of 10, personally. But, you know, so 2.5 essentially, but I can't give it 2.5s on the apps. I think it's sweeter than the 2. I don't think it's as sweet as the 3 if I'm comparing it to other rums. Essentially, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, fruity, I've gone 3 out of 5. Woody, oaky notes, there is a bit there, as I say, in the finish, so I've given that 2 out of 5. Roasted, not too much, if I'm being brutally honest, so I've given it 1. Floral notes, again, 1 out of 5. There's something there, but not massive. Spices, you get a spice not up top, it comes later, sort of later on, so I've given that a 2, and I do think that's quite rounded. And the finish, I've gone for quite long. The finish is actually quite fruity for me. It kind of sits on that fruitier end of the scale. So you go fruity, woody, peppery spice, back to a bit of fruit again. It's a lovely kind of journey, this rum, sipping neat. Now, what other people have got? Vanilla, sweet, coconut, caramel, toffee, banana. See again, banana. I go more at the tropical. I go more sort of, I'm reminiscing with pineapple, maybe papaya, maybe guava, those sort of style of fruits for me. It's a touch of coconut in there, but I struggle with that banana on that personally. So we've got round, woody, tropical fruits, sugar, butterscotch. Again, that's kind of what I mentioned. You know, I really struggle with that sort of being that specific. Caramel for me, sugar, caramel. Honey, definitely touches of honey in there. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that. Caramelized spice and brown sugar. So you can see, you know, brown sugar, butterscotch, honey, caramelized. You can see different people have different viewpoints on that. I would purely, for me, probably go honey, caramel, if that was me. So, what else can I tell you? Summing up. Oh, scores. Right, here we go. The scores. This is just purely on Sipping Neat. So we have to score it on the RumX app out of 100. What is it? It's 80 to 89 is very good. 90 to 99 is excellent. It's averaged 70 on 430 plus reviews. It's averaged 79. Okay, 79 out of 100. I have to be one of those ones that goes right up top. For me, this is an excellent rum, but not at the high end of the 90s. I've given it 90. 90 out of 100, so it's at the bottom end of excellent. For me, I've not really encountered too many other, for me, excellent rums. So I'm being cautious. I don't want to go straight in there at 95 or something like that. I'm being cautious with this. So for me, it is excellent. It's better than very good, but I'm sitting it at that 90 out of 100. I flipping love it. So let's get on to the old taste test before I sum up and get onto the final thoughts. As always, rum and coke, rum and ginger. Look, brutally honest, it's decent. Of course it is. You've got nearly a £50 rum there. You mix it with coke, you mix it with ginger. It's going to be a lovely rum and coke, a lovely rum and ginger. For me personally, being brutally honest, it's wasted. I certainly wouldn't drink that with rum and coke or rum and ginger. Actually, if I'm being brutally honest, there's rums behind me, way cheaper rums behind me that I prefer as a rum and coke, and way cheaper rums behind me that I prefer as a rum and ginger. But needless to say, they're pretty good drinks. Then we get on to the 3 kind of cocktails. So daiquiri, rum fashioned, and the rum punch. The daiquiri, as I keep saying, I'm really not a huge fan of those aged rum daiquiris. I was going to say moody daiquiris, then a nod to Windy and my membership guys. I wouldn't call that a moody daiquiri. It's an aged rum daiquiri. It's pretty damn decent. If I had to score that out of 100, I would probably give that high 70s, 75 out of 100. It's pretty decent, but for me, it still doesn't come close to white rum daiquiris, or, as I'm getting there, some of those real lovely sort of light column still Spanish style rum daiquiris that can be aged 4-year-olds, like the Cube Carta Dorada, for me is still better daiquiri rum than what that is, but it's really, really good. The rum fashions, yes, amazing. Tiny, 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 tiny bit of sugar, some bitters in there just to bring that to life. It's essentially a kind of, with the ice stirred down, it's kind of opening out those flavours a little bit more. The sugar adds a little bit more. A few of you have asked me to open that out with a bit of water. As I'm doing the rum fashioned, yeah, I could start to open it out with water, but you know, it's not going to be far off there. Sugar brings more flavours out. You've got the water in there from the ice cubes, the dilution. So yeah, opening that out with a bit of water would be cool. But as I'm doing this, I don't think I'm going to bother just yet of these. But the rum fashioned properly up my street. Out of all of those 5, definitely the way, if you want it as a cocktail, definitely the way to have it. The rum punch is tasty. I mean, it's a blinding rum punch. It really is a blinding rum punch. I haven't told you the ABV, have I? That's because I don't know. 40% ABV. I didn't know it was 42%, actually. I completely forgot about that. But 40% ABV, I should know. I've had enough of it over the last years. It's a lovely rum punch. It really, really is. But for me, personally, and if I'm summing up now, it really does sit at neat sipping or the rum fashioned. I don't think you buy this rum for anything other than neat sipping. And whether you want to open that out with an ice cube, whether you want to open it out with water, or whether you want to do that as a rum fashioned, I do think that's where this is. I would not buy this rum for any other purpose than sipping neat or that rum fashioned. So, to sum it up, would I restock it again? Well, this is bottle number 5, 6, I don't know. So yes, I fell in love with this rum the first time I had it. It's been permanently behind my bar on my shelves over the last decade or so. I absolutely love it to bits. Value for money, 50 quid. Look, if I love something that much, then for me, at 50 quid, yes. Would I love it to be cheaper? Yes, I'm tight. Of course I am. I would love that to be 40 quid. But at 48, just under 50 quid, I think it's an absolute, especially when you look at the bottle as well, and you have to pay some sort of homage to the bottle, the design of that. Yes, I think it's an absolute belter. Are there any other comparable rums? And I've made a little note here that I could buy instead. Look, when it comes to this sort of rum, I can't think of, certainly out of the experience I've had, I can't think of a rum that I've got, tasted or had that's remotely anything similar to this, with those tropical fruit vibes. However, a little note that I've got of rums that are similar. I actually think, I'm discounting the Plantation 5-year-old straight away. For me, totally different. Even though it's Barbados Rums, same distillery, chalk and cheese for me personally, chalk and cheese. The closest one I get is actually the Plantation, the Gran Añejo, so Guatemala and Belize. I do get those lovely kind of tropical fruit vibes off that rum. So that's the paying nod to that. But then subtle, very sort of subtle Plantation Fiji, the Isle of Fiji. Maybe, I haven't done it, but maybe if you put those two together, you may get something close to that with the tropical thing. But then I don't think you get the wood, the oak spices that come off that. And then other ones I've mentioned, maybe to just on the tropical fruit side, the Angostura 7 or the Angostura 1919. But apart from that, I really can't think of too many other rums that even come close or you could compare to that purely on tasting.